The book of Yashar, Jasher, chapter 82. And the children of Yashar proceeded from Rephidim, and they encamped in the wilderness of Sinai, in the 3rd month from their going forth from Mitzrayim. And at that time came Reuel, the Midianite, the father-in-law of Moshe, with Cepher his daughter, and her 2 sons, for he had heard the wonders of Yahuwah, which he had done to Yashar, that he had delivered them from the hand of Mitzrayim. And Reuel came to Moshe to the wilderness, where he was encamped, where was the mountain of Elohim. And Moshe went forth to meet his father-in-law with great honor, and all Yashar was with him. And Reuel and his children remained amongst Yashar for many days, and Reuel knew Yahuwah from that day forward. And in the 3rd month from the children of Yashar's departure from Mitzrayim, on the 6th day thereof, Yahuwah gave to Yashar the 10 Devarim, or words of commandments, on Mount Sinai. And all Yashar heard all these commandments, and all Yashar rejoiced exceedingly in Yahuwah on that day. And the glory, kavod, of Yahuwah rested upon Mount Sinai, and he called to Moshe. And Moshe came in the midst of a cloud, and ascended the mountain. And Moshe was upon the mount 40 days and 40 nights. He ate no bread and drank no water. And Yahuwah instructed him in the commandments and judgments in order to teach the children of Yashar. And Yahuwah wrote the 10 Devarim, commandments, which he had commanded the children of Yashar, upon 2 sapphire stones, which he gave to Moshe to command the children of Yashar. And at the end of 40 days and 40 nights, when Yahuwah had finished speaking to Moshe on Mount Sinai, then Yahuwah gave to Moshe the sapphire stones, written with the finger of Elohim. And when the children of Yashar saw that Moshe tarried to come down from the mount, they gathered round Aharon and said, As for this man Moshe, we know not what has become of him. Now therefore rise up, make unto us an Elohim, who shall go before us, so that you shall not die. And Aharon was greatly afraid of the people, and he ordered them to bring him gold, and he made it into a molten calf for the people. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, before he had come down from the mount, Get you down, for your people, whom you did bring forth from Mitzrayim, have corrupted themselves. They have made to themselves a molten calf, and have bowed down to it. Now therefore leave me, that I may consume them from off the earth, for they are a stiff-necked people. And Moshe besought the countenance of Yahuwah, and he prayed to Yahuwah for the people on account of the calf which they had made. And he afterward descended from the mount, and in his hands were the 2 sapphire stones, which Elohim had given him to command Yashar. And when Moshe approached the camp and saw the calf which the people had made, the anger of Moshe was kindled, and he broke the sapphires under the mount. And Moshe came to the camp, and he took the calf and burned it with fire, and ground it till it became fine dust, and strewed it upon the water, and gave it to Yashar to drink. And there died of the people by the swords of each other about 3,000 men who had made the calf. And on the morrow Moshe said to the people, I will go up to Yahuwah. Perchance I may make atonement for your sins, which you have sinned to Yahuwah. And Moshe went up again to Yahuwah, and he remained with Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights. And during the 40 days did Moshe entreat Yahuwah on behalf of the children of Yasharal. And Yahuwah hearkened to the prayer of Moshe, and Yahuwah was entreated of him on behalf of Yasharal. Then spoke Yahuwah to Moshe to hew 2 sapphire stones, and to bring them up to Yahuwah, who would write upon them 10 divarim. Now Moshe did so, and he came down and hewed the 2 sapphire stones, and went up to Mount Sinai to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah wrote the 10 divarim upon the sapphires. And Moshe remained yet with Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights, and Yahuwah instructed him in commandments and judgments to impart to Yasharal. And Yahuwah commanded him respecting the children of Yasharal, that they should make a sanctuary for Yahuwah, that his name might rest therein. And Yahuwah showed him the likeness of the sanctuary and the likeness of all its vessels. And at the end of 40 days Moshe came down from the mount, and the 2 sapphires were in his hands. And Moshe came to the children of Yasharal, and spoke to them all the words of Yahuwah. And he taught them Torah, commandments, and judgments, which Yahuwah had taught him. And Moshe told the children of Yasharal the word of Yahuwah, that a sanctuary should be made for him, to dwell amongst the children of Yasharal. And the people rejoiced greatly at all the good which Yahuwah had spoken to them through Moshe. And they said, We will do all that Yahuwah has spoken to you. And the people rose up like one man, and they made generous offerings to the sanctuary of Yahuwah. And each man brought the offering of Yahuwah for the work of the sanctuary, and for all its service. And all the children of Yasharal brought each man of all that was found in his possession for the work of the sanctuary of Yahuwah, gold, silver, and brass, and everything that was serviceable for the sanctuary. And all the wise men who were practiced in work came and made the sanctuary of Yahuwah, according to all that Yahuwah had commanded, every man in the work in which he had been practiced. And all the wise men in heart made the sanctuary, and its furniture, and all the vessels, for the Kodesh, holy service, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And the work of the sanctuary of the tabernacle was completed at the end of 5 months. And the children of Yasharal did all that Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And they brought the sanctuary and all its furniture to Moshe, like unto the representation which Yahuwah had shown to Moshe. So did the children of Yasharal. And Moshe saw the work, and behold, they did it as Yahuwah had commanded him. So Moshe blessed them. Chapter 83. And in the 12th month, in the 23rd day of the month, Moshe took Aharon and his sons, and he dressed them in their garments, and anointed them, and did unto them as Yahuwah had commanded him. And Moshe brought up all the offerings which Yahuwah had on that day commanded him. Moshe afterward took Aharon and his sons, and said to them, For 7 days shall you remain at the door of the tabernacle, for thus am I commanded. And Aharon and his sons did all that Yahuwah had commanded them through Moshe, and they remained for 7 days at the door of the tabernacle. And on the 8th day, being the 1st day of the month, in the 2nd year from Yasharal's departure from Mitzrayim, Moshe erected the sanctuary, and Moshe put up all the furniture of the tabernacle and all the furniture of the sanctuary, and he did all that Yahuwah had commanded him. And Moshe called to Aharon and his sons, And they brought the ascending smoke offering and the sin offering for themselves and the children of Yasharal, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. On that day, the two sons of Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, took strange fire and brought it before Yahuwah, who had not commanded them. And a fire went forth from before Yahuwah and consumed them, and they died before Yahuwah on that day. Then on that day, when Moshe had completed to erect the sanctuary, the princes of the children of Yasharal began to bring their offerings before Yahuwah for the dedication of the altar. And they brought up their offerings, each prince for 1 day, a prince each day for 12 days. And the offerings which they brought, each man in his day, 1 silver charger, weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour, mingled with oil, for an oblation, 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold, full of incense, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb, of the first year, for an ascending smoke offering, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of a year old. Thus did the 12 princes of Yasharal day by day, each man in his day. And it was after this, in the 13th day of the month, that Moshe commanded the children of Yasharal to observe the Pesach. And the children of Yasharal kept the Pesach in its season, in the 14th day of the month, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe, so did the children of Yasharal. And in the 2nd month, on the 1st day thereof, Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Number the heads of all the males of the children of Yasharal, from 20 years old and upward, you and your brother Aharon, and the 12 princes of Yasharal. And Moshe did so, and Aharon came with the 12 princes of Yasharal, and they numbered the children of Yasharal in the wilderness of Sinai. And the numbers of the children of Yasharal by the houses of their fathers, from 20 years old up and upward, were 603,550. But the children of Levi were not numbered amongst their brethren, the children of Yasharal. And the number of all the males of the children of Yasharal from 1 month old and upward was 22,273. And the number of the children of Levi from 1 month old and above was 22,000. And Moshe placed the priests and the Leviim, each man to his service and to his burden, to serve the sanctuary of the tabernacle, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And on the 20th day of the month, the cloud was taken away from the tabernacle of testimony. At that time, the children of Yasharal continued their journey from the wilderness of Sinai, and they took a journey of 3 days. And the cloud rested upon the wilderness of Paran. There the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Yasharal, for they had provoked Yahuwah in asking him for meat, that they might eat. And Yahuwah hearkened to their voice, and gave them meat, which they ate for 1 month. But after this the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against them, and he smote them with a great slaughter. And they were buried there in that place. And the children of Yasharal called that place Kivrot Hat Tavat, because there buried the people that lusted flesh. And they departed from Kivrot HaTarath, and pitched in Chasaroth, which is in the wilderness of Paran. And while the children of Yasharal were in Chatzarath, the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Miriam on account of Moshe, and she became leprous, white as snow. And she was confined without the camp for 7 days, until she had been received again after her leprosy. The children of Yasharal afterward departed from Chatzarath and pitched in the end of the wilderness of Paran. At that time Yahuwah spoke to Moshe to send 12 men from the children of Yasharal, 1 man to a tribe, to go and explore the land of Canaan. And Moshe sent the 12 men, and they came to the land of Canaan to search and examine it. And they explored the whole land from the wilderness of Sin to Rechav, as you come to Chamoth. And at the end of 40 days they came to Moshe and Aharon, and they brought him word as it was in their hearts. And 10 of the men brought up an evil report to the children of Yasharal of the land which they had explored, saying, "It is better for us to return to Mitzrayim than to go to this land, a land that consumes its inhabitants." But Yahusha, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, who were of those that explored the land, said, "The land is exceedingly good. If Yahuwah delight in us, then he will bring us to this land and give it to us, for it is a land flowing with milk and honey." But the children of Yasharal would not hearken to them, and they hearkened to the words of the 10 men who had brought up an evil report of the land. And Yahuwah heard the murmurings of the children of Yasharal, and he was angry and swore, saying, "Surely not one of man of this wicked generation shall see the land from 20 years old and upward, except in Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Yahusha the son of Nun. But surely this wicked generation shall perish in this wilderness, and their children shall come to the land, and they shall possess it." So the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Yasharal, and he made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years, until the end of that wicked generation, because they did not follow Yahuwah. And the people dwelt in the wilderness of Paran a long time, and they afterward proceeded to the wilderness by way of the Red Sea. Chapter 84. At that time Korach, the son of Yetzer, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, took many men of the children of Yasharal, and they rose up and quarreled with Moshe and Aharon and the whole assembly. And Yahuwah was angry with them. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their houses and all belonging to them, and all the men belonging to Korach. And after this Elohim made the people go round by the way of Mount Seir for a long time. At that time Yahuwah said unto Moshe, "Provoke not a war against the children of Esau, for I will not give to you of anything belonging to them, as much as the sole of the foot could tread upon. For I have given Mount Seir for an inheritance to Esau." Therefore did the children of Esau fight against the children of Seir in former times, and Yahuwah had delivered the children of Seir into the hands of the children of Esau, and destroyed them from before them. And the children of Esau dwelt in their stead unto this day. Therefore Yahuwah said to the children of Yasharal, "Fight not against the children of Esau, your brethren, for nothing in their land belongs to you, but you may buy food of them for money and eat it, and you may buy water of them for money and drink it." And the children of Yasharal did according to the word of Yahuwah. And the children of Yasharal went about the wilderness, going round the way of Mount Sinai for a long time, and touched not the children of Esau. And they continued in that district for 19 years. At that time died Latinus, king of the children of Kittim, in the 45th year of his reign, which is the 14th year of the children of Yasharal's departure from Mitzrayim. And they buried him in his place, which he had built for himself in the land of Kittim. And Abimnas reigned in his place for 38 years. And the children of Yasharal passed the boundary of the children of Esau in those days, at the end of 19 years. And they came and passed the road of the wilderness of Moab. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Besiege not Moab, and do not fight against them, for I will give you nothing of their land. And the children of Yasharal passed the road of the wilderness of Moab for 19 years, and they did not fight against them. And in the 36th year of the children of Yasharal's departing from Mitzrayim, Yahuwah smote the heart of Chichon, king of the Amorim, and he waged war and went forth to fight against the children of Moab. And Chichon sent messengers to Beor, the son of Ionis, the son of Bilam, counselor to the king of Mitzrayim, and to Bilam his son, to curse Moab, in order that it might be delivered into the hand of Chichon. And the messengers went and brought Beor, the son of Ionis, and Bilam his son, from Pethor in Aram Naharaim. So Beor and Bilam his son came to the city of Chichon, and they cursed Moab and their king in the presence of Chichon, the king of the Amorim. So Chichon went out with his whole army, and he went to Moab and fought against them, and he subdued them, and Yahuwah delivered them into his hands. And Chichon slew the king of Moab, and Chichon took all the cities of Moab in the battle. He also took Chesbon from them, for Chesbon was one of the cities of Moab. And Chichon placed his princes and his nobles in Chesbon, and Chesbon belonged to Chichon in those days. Therefore the parable speakers Beor and Bilam his son uttered these words, saying, Come unto Chesbon, the city of Chichon will be built and established. Woe unto you, Moab! You are lost, O people of Chemosh. Behold, it is written upon the Cepher of the Torah of Elohim. And when Chichon had conquered Moab, he placed guards in the city, which he had taken from Moab. And a considerable number of the children of Moab fell in battle into the hand of Chichon. And he made a great capture of them, sons and daughters, and he slew their king. So Chichon turned back to his own land. And Chichon gave numerous presents of silver and gold to Beor and Bilam his son, and he dismissed them, and they went to Aram Naharaim, to their home and country. At that time all the children of Yasharal passed from the road of the wilderness of Moab, and returned and surrounded the wilderness of Edom. So the whole assembly came to the wilderness of Syene in the first month of the 40th year from their departure from Mitzrayim. And the children of Yasharal dwelt there in Kadesh of the wilderness of Syene. And Miriam died there, and she was buried there. At that time Moshe sent messengers to Hadad, king of Edom, saying, Thus says your brother Yasharal, Let me pass, I pray you, through your land. We will not pass through a field or a vineyard. We will not drink the water of the well. We will walk in the king's road. And Edom said to him, You shall not pass through my country. And Edom went forth to meet the children of Yasharal with a mighty people. And the children of Esau refused to let the children of Yasharal pass through their land. So Yasharal removed from them and fought not against them. For before this Yahuwah had commanded the children of Yasharal, saying, You shall not fight against the children of Esau. Therefore Yasharal removed from them and did not fight against them. So the children of Yashar departed from Kadesh, and all the people came to Mount Hor. At that time Yahuwah said to Moshe, "Tell your brother Aharon that he shall die there, for he shall not come to the land which I have given to the children of Yasharal." And Aharon went up at the command of Yahuwah to Mount Hor in the 40th year, in the 5th month, in the 1st day of the month. And Aharon was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor.